Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterists Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma, and this is what I call my morning musings. Before I get into my lesson this morning, I want to take this opportunity to express my profound and very sincere appreciation to all of you who have expressed concern about my wife. My wife was admitted to the ER early this week with chest pains and extremely high blood pressure, what the doctor calls stroke level blood pressure. We were hopeful that it was some kind of vitamin deficiency, hormone deficiency. That's not what it was. The doctor seems to think at this point that there is an issue with the heart. She spent a night in the hospital testing, etc. And the doctor says it's not a deficiency of her potassium or magnesium. But again, that it does seem to be an issue with the heart. Obviously, that's very troubling. The good news is she did not have a heart attack. That seems very evident, and we're just thankful to the Lord for that. The doctor says that she's got to have a whole bunch of more tests to determine if it truly is the heart or if there's something else going on. So please keep her in your prayers as she undergoes this battery of tests and to try to see what in the world is causing this incredible spike of blood pressure and the chest pains and the issues she is having. But again, thank you so much for your expressions of concern and love. It truly is appreciated. I'm trying to share with you some thoughts on hermeneutic. That is, the art or the science of biblical interpretation. And I'm really wanting to focus on one given narrow aspect of a problem that has become increasingly apparent. I have been hearing this, quote, argument, unquote, from amillennialists, from dispensationalist to dominionist, seemingly on an increasing scale over the last year, couple of years even, and articles on the internet, books that have recently come out, etc. And it's a very troubling hermeneutic. Now, point of fact is, I probably used it at times in the past, unwittingly, but on close examination, we can see how false and dangerous the doctrine really is, and how fatal, especially to futurist eschatologies, that this hermeneutic truly is. Here's what I mean. Dispensationalists, when they approach the book of Revelation, they say, oh, look, in chapters 2 and 3, we have mention of the church. Chapters 4 through 22, the word church does not even appear. That demands that the church is not even under consideration in chapters 4 through 22. The church must have been raptured, must have been gone in chapters 4 through 22. Now, my dominionist friends come along, and Kenneth Gentry, and by the way, I'm going to read to you from a brief article that I've posted on my websites. I'm in the process of writing a series of articles on this fatal hermeneutic. Kenneth Gentry, commenting on this dispensational argument from silence, says, how can this, that is, the use of different words or missing words in a given text, my note, prove a distinction between the rapture and the second event? Does not John Walvoord admit a limited design for the passage, that is, to comfort Christians concerning the resurrection of deceased loved ones, talking about 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Why would Paul have to provide a whole complex of eschatological phenomena? The dispensational argument is one from silence based on a preconceived theory, unquote. That's from He Shall Have Dominion, 2009 edition, page 286. Well, I agree with Gentry. I think he's pointing out the fallacy of an argument from silence. DeMar, when arguing against the dispensationalists, does exactly the same thing. He says, you cannot argue from the silence of a word or of a text, the absence of a word, or even the use of different words in different contexts. And yet, what do Gary DeMar, Kenneth Gentry, Joel McDurmon, etc., what do they all do? Well, in my debate with Joel McDurmon, July of 2012, and the book is available. DVDs are available. MP3s are available. It's even available on Kindle now. We strongly urge you to get a copy of the debate. But when I appealed to Isaiah chapter 25 as the source of Paul's resurrection doctrine in 1 Corinthians 15, Joel McDurmon said, well, you can't make that argument because the word final is not in Isaiah 25 or even 1 Corinthians 15. And Joel McDurmon made the historically unprecedented and wildly desperate claim that he didn't have a problem saying that there was a fulfillment of 1 Corinthians 15 in AD 70. Wow. So, do you see the problem here? The dominionists, oh, by the way, the amillennialists do the same thing. They condemn the dispensationalists. The dispensationalists say, oh, look, Matthew 24 has different words from 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, therefore there must be different comings. Dominionists and amillennialists say, no, that's false hermeneutic. You can't do that. And then the dominionists come along. Gentry says 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 is different from chapter 2. Why? Well, because Paul uses different words. In other words, he uses the very hermeneutic that he condemns the dispensationalist for using. Now, folks, my point here is arguments from silence, as Gentry himself, are very tenuous. So Gentry is arguing that arguments from silence are very, very tenuous, and they're based on, what did he say? A preconceived theory. Well, just like Joel McDurmon has a preconceived theory about resurrection, and since the AD 70 fulfillment does not fit the preconceived theory, therefore, hey, he doesn't see the word final in the text, therefore it cannot be the eschatological consummation. As we shall see, the use of different words does not demand different applications or different subjects and different times. The absence of given words does not demand a delineation between subjects. This is a dangerous hermeneutic. And I think you've seen the fallacy of it already just in this morning's morning musings. But we've got a lot more. So I'll see you on the flip side.